Hello and welcome to What the F*** Just Happened Today, your essential guide to the daily shock and awe in national politics. I'm Joe Amditis. Let's get to it. It's Monday, January 8th, 2024. Welcome to day 1084. The Supreme Court agreed to review the Colorado State Supreme Court's decision to remove Donald Trump from their state's ballot. The court will hear the case on an expedited basis, with arguments starting on February 8th. The Colorado Republican Party urged the justices to issue their ruling by March 5th, when many states, including Colorado, will hold their primaries. Last month, Colorado's top court disqualified Trump from their state ballot, finding that he engaged in insurrection before and during the January 6th attack on the Capitol. The Secretary of State of Maine also barred Trump from that state's ballot over his role in the Capitol attack. Trump is separately appealing that ruling to a state court in Maine. The Republican National Committee and the National Republican Congressional Committee, meanwhile, filed an amicus brief with the Supreme Court supporting Trump's efforts to remain on the 2024 ballot. Meanwhile, Trump asked a Georgia judge to dismiss his 13 felony racketeering and conspiracy charges for his attempts to subvert the 2020 election, claiming that the election subversion case violated presidential immunity, double jeopardy, and due process protections. Trump argued that pressuring Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger back in 2021 to find enough votes to overturn Biden's victory in that state was part of his official duties as president, and he should therefore enjoy immunity from criminal prosecution. Trump also argued in the due process motion that he lacked fair notice that his baseless claims about widespread election fraud could be criminalized. He also argued that the case should be tossed because he was tried and acquitted on related charges before the United States Senate during his second impeachment, citing double jeopardy. Moving on, the Supreme Court allowed the state of Idaho to enforce its near-total ban on abortions, agreeing to hear an appeal in the case and scheduling arguments for April. A ruling is expected by the end of June. Idaho's 2020 law bans most abortions and makes it a crime with a prison term of up to 5 years for anyone who performs or assists in an abortion, with the only exception being when it's necessary to prevent the death of a pregnant woman. In August 2022, the Biden administration sued to block the law, arguing that it illegally conflicts with the Federal Emergency Medical Treatment and Labor Act, which requires hospitals to provide necessary stabilizing treatment when the health of the mother is in danger. And finally, House Republicans and Senate Democrats reached an agreement to avoid a government shutdown and keep the federal government funded until the end of the fiscal year. The deal would establish an overall spending level of $1.66 trillion for the 2024 fiscal year, setting spending levels at $886 billion for the military and $772 billion for other non-defense federal spending. The agreement is in line with the deal that Biden and then-Speaker Kevin McCarthy agreed to last year, after which McCarthy was ousted by far-right House Republicans in October for cutting the deal with Biden and the Democrats. Still, the Freedom Caucus called Speaker Mike Johnson's agreement a total failure and totally unacceptable. The House and Senate now have to craft the underlying bills and pass them in less than 2 weeks to avoid a partial government shutdown. Funding for roughly 20% of the government is set to run out on January 19th, and money for the rest of the government runs out on February 2nd. That's all for now. You can find the links and sources for all of these stories on the main website. And as always, visit whatthefjusthappenedtoday.com for the latest news and headlines. Until next time, I'm Joe Amditis.